Chiefs, Brandon Peterson. Fourth appearance since his return from that appendix surgery. They really did miss him. The first match he missed, in fact, was the previous derby, and it did, some felt, make a significant difference. Oh man, the electricity in this place is almost beyond description. We've had to wait a little bit longer than expected with the kickoff delayed, but it is finally time for Soweto Derby number 185, and we're underway. A little bit of a warm-up, dust-up, sure to add some extra edge to this famous rivalry. The stakes are sky high. There's tension, anticipation. Black and white of Orlando crossing paths with the gold and black of Bafeni. What will this derby deliver? Rhetorical, that question, of course, but perhaps you can give us some insight into what you think we might see here this afternoon.
I think one can anticipate the fact that you, as Orlando Pirates, coming into this game as favorites, maybe being the one that really controls the tempo, controls time and space on the ball, but also maybe try to influence the results into their favor. But yet again, from the human side as well, is when it's pressure game, will the players be able to rise at the occasion that it is today to be able to get the results that they need? Yes, the previous derby, yes, it was important. Most importantly, maybe for positional point, bragging rights, but this one is significant. Orlando Pirates know that if they don't win here, the chances are the league title is gone.
There's Tabang Moremi up against Brad Cross. Moremi opened the scoring when these two sides met 2 months ago, inside 5 minutes, and the statistics of that derby were a little bit skewed because of the early goal. Chiefs actually had more possession in that game because they were chasing. As Brad Cross dusts himself off, he'll have to be careful. He's been dismissed in the derby previously, that the one that came a week before the Nedbank Cup final. He actually missed the final because of that particular suspension.
When they played those back-to-back games.
Yeah, indeed. That was the 2-1 win for Orlando Pirates. Mufu King got the winner. Cross dismissed late in that one. Brandon Peterson readies himself. Dion Hunter with the in-swinging delivery. Brad Cross does just about enough here. Does have the option of Pulemori on his outside. Chooses Spesihle Ndlovu. Has scored in the Soweto derby, but for Orlando Pirates, it's nicely worked out wide to Pulemori. Ndlovu up against Sibili Bilu, who successfully makes the tackle. That, by the way, is his 50th successful tackle in the league this season. He leads in that regard. So anyone who had concerns about how well he would adjust to right back, I'm sure those have been well and truly put to bed.
Yeah, and also like with Sibili, especially with the characteristics of his game model, it suits him very well to start from the back, to be able to come in. But it's just that also for me is because of his speed, he forces the wingers to actually play more defensively when Orlando Pirates are in position, because he finds himself in dangerous areas. So therefore, as a winger that you're playing against, you have to defend more. But he's doing very well in terms of those one-on-one battles that whenever he finds himself with, he wins a lot of tackles in that game.
For all Pirates' recent dominance over Kaizer Chiefs, as you get a view of the man chasing the title, Slamuwaru, what a sensational season he's had with the Buccaneers. Of course, this is just his second derby, his first. What an emphatic victory that was, 3-0. The biggest loss that Kaizer Chiefs have suffered to Orlando Pirates in 5 years in all competitions, or 6 years rather, and 25 years since they were beaten by a 3-goal margin in the league. So that result will still be sitting with Kaizer Chiefs, we would imagine. And for all Pirates' dominance, Chiefs remain undoubtedly Pirates' most testing obstacle in their final 5 games. Chiefs coaching staff are fairly coy about how that 3-0 hammering might affect the outlook of this game. That disappointment will no doubt have lingered. As we said, it was the biggest in the league for 25 years that they have suffered.
And I guess we look at that game as well. I think many would have said, especially after the game, many fans would have said Kaizer Chiefs players never really try to compete. You know, they were in the game. they look disjointed from the first minute. It's even though, but you look at now from that previous game to look at into the lineup that they have, you still have, now you have a difference within Muthetho now, because at that time they only had Mabue that looked like he was more defensively. Now you have a proper defensive midfielder that will be able to help you where Rele operates, where Apulis operates, where Maremi operates. So therefore maybe that balance defensively that they lacked in the previous game, they might find today.
Well, Mabue did start that game, but he hadn't quite hit the kind of form he's realizing at the moment. As we get a look now at this foul on Mufokeng by Ndlovu. And Ngoskapile Ngobo started that game in midfield as well. It wasn't perhaps his best outing. He's had an interesting relationship with the derbies. He's not even in the squad today. This is the 19th derby since Ngobo's debut, and it's the 10th time that he is not featuring in any capacity. So that was the midfield that day, again with Mori and Lilepo, the Silva, and quite surprisingly Chislett started that match. The defence also looked a little different. McCarthy forced to play a little wider left with Miguel and Kunika.
So there was a lot of the players, especially coming into play against Orlando Pirates, that came in such a good form. So there's a lot of readjustment that needs to be done, and these are type of games that you can be trying new things.
Here is CBC now, trying to lift it towards Apollos. Mori intercepting. This is Andile Duba. They have kept the informed Flavio Silva on the bench. No doubt he'll be looking to make an impact later in the game alongside Mdusha Balala, who will be itching to have another go at Orlando Pirates, having been in the stands for reported ill discipline, although the club came out to rubbish those rumours post-match. Now Bulemori, and the clearance from Siema, not that convincing, skewed awkwardly off his boot, and it will be a corner kick for Kaizer Chiefs. They have only scored once from corners though this season.
I think with Bulemori, a lot of criticism, especially whenever he has goal scoring opportunities. The type of player that gets into those positions but unable to convert them. Another opportunity again, we're playing against a person that really likes occupying high positions. So maybe if he plays lopsided, get more into the ball with the Mabue there in the midfield, maybe he might find joy for Kaizer Chiefs going forward.
What a good delivery here against a Orlando Pirates side who are yet to concede from a corner in the league this season. One of three teams who haven't shipped a goal from a corner. Abamile Tom laying down the law. Mabue's ball in towards the back posts. Duba stretching for it. Globo challenging unsuccessfully, but Kaizer Chiefs retain possession here. Now they still have the big men up, including giving him Simango. And it might fall for him, but Sibilibili able to make the clearance. Showing a lot of aggression early, Amakosi. Perhaps still smarting from a 3-0 defeat they suffered just 2 months ago. It's not often that you see two league derbies played in such quick succession. And of course, last season, as we marvel at that brilliant challenge from Sibilibili, but last season did play those back-to-back derbies in the league and then in the Nedbank Cup final.
It felt like there were too many derbies coming in, especially with the final being played as well. But with this one as well, because it played within a short space of time, as a footballer, you always have a fresh reference in terms of that game. So you know that the expectations are high, so you need to apply yourself a little bit better into this game.
And it goes from Mabue again, not well cleared. Red Cross almost helping it through to Munyane. And Simango realizing that he was positioned offside, leaving that one. So the experienced Makaula, who has won 5 of the 7 derbies that he's competed in, just encouraging his teammates to settle down, show some composure, They have been under pressure in the opening 10 or so minutes.
Yeah, and they are a team that they're expected rather to be able to control their emotions. That is Orlando Pirates. They know that if they can have those passing lines, they can get the rhythm right, they can put pressure to Kaizer Chiefs' defense. But yet again, Kaizer Chiefs are not letting them go. So it'll be a very interesting game to see then who manages the emotions a little bit better.
Makaula caught from behind and hauled up by the man who fouled him. Well, it would have been an entirely different dynamic had this game been played yesterday. It was pouring down with rain, as was the case the day prior and the day before that and the day before that. The pitch has held up beautifully as well. Has taken on a lot of water over the last week or so as Sipho Chain plays a low ball that was almost intercepted, but now it's Orlando Pirates on the move with Sibilibili. This is Talente Mbata. Miscontrol, but he's managed to recover. Sipho Chain chasing down a record currently held by Ronwen Williams of 18 clean sheets in a single season. But Williams managed 3 seasons back. And what it would also mean is that if he were able to shut out Kaizer Chiefs here today, or indeed in any of the 5 remaining matches, he would outright own the Orlando Pirates record for clean sheets in a single season, which he equaled in the victory over Amazulu, going level with Monique Josephs. He managed 17 clean sheets in 29 outings back in 2009-2010.
I'm sure Sipho Chain with all the remaining games, there is high possibilities of them having clean sheets. Orlando Pirates defending very well. And they'll be looking to continue with that today, maybe trying to have a little bit of a clean sheet, but yet again, they need to create goal-scoring opportunities and need to make sure that Lilleapo doesn't cause them problems. Yet on the other side as well, that we know that's very aggressive, and the Modi as well, if he start finding joy, they will have a problem.
Now Mufukeng has it stolen away from him, and Kaizer Chiefs not able to capitalize on that. Lendlovu looking to put in a good shift for his new club. 5 derbies he's played previously, all for Orlando Pirates. 3 wins, 2 losses, and a goal as well in a 2-1 win at the Orlando Stadium. Horribly muddy conditions behind closed doors a few seasons back. Now Brett Cross getting his head on that after some decent work by Mputuma. Mufukeng helping it to Mbata. Slips as he attempts to control. And Ndlovu can't latch onto that ball from Pulemoni.
I can see that, there's going to be interesting individual battles in that midfield. And yes, also collectively. I'm yet to see if Orlando Pirates actually can play under the stress that Kaizer Chiefs is putting in. That's why you're seeing Rovina being put in the lineup. It's not to be more creative going forward, but also just to make sure that, Mbata doesn't have more time on the ball, because they know that when he's orchestrating those moves, Orlando Pirates get their rhythm right, and he's forever so close to Mbata is, and it's trying to cancel that, and it's trying to make sure that they press a little bit higher up the pitch.
Pinged forward brilliantly by Sibisi. Man with the most derby experience on the pitch right now, Dion Hotto, feeding Mufukeng, back to Hotto. Does have a whole host of derby assists, does the Namibian, across his 15 previous derby appearances, and several in his last few outings. 6 assists overall in the Soweto derby, and 4 in his last 5 derbies.
We spoke about the individual battles. I think it's going to be very, very important, especially from a Kaizer Chiefs side, that you know that you need to come back into the game. You need to buy into the fans as well to make sure that you really compete, but also for them also to push you, to give you the energy that you need. So those individual battles are going to be very key. And also from a collective point of view, I think whenever they win the ball, they need to find Dua, because he's the one, I think, at the up front that has more speed, and he might start maybe causing problems for his defense.
Clipped in cleverly by Mufokeng for Moremi, who's battling hard to try and keep it alive, but stolen away. Combination of Ndlovu and Mabue. Some interesting corner routines that we've seen recently from Orlando Pirates. They would have been very disappointed out at Richards Bay, that 2-all draw. They had 17 corners, it's most in the league this season, and really didn't make the most of any of them. But their 4 goals from corners this season is the most of any club in the Betway Premiership.
Going back to that game, I remember we were doing that game. We said after 2 or 3 different variations of corner, they start playing, predictable corner kicks, and I guess also maybe a little bit of frustration crept in. I guess also for me, it's a game that really.
Now Mufokeng's ball. The diving intervention from Ada McCarthy, giving him some angles under some serious pressure here. Moremi is able to work the ball in, but Brandon Peterson snatches it up. Giving him Simango has lost both the derbies he's been involved in, and that was 2 seasons back. He's missed the last 4 derbies, has Simango. Now Mufokeng to Gaula. Siema bringing it forwards, turned 23 just a few weeks back. Here's Oswin Apollos trying to work the space. Almost had the beating there of Tetwa. There's an intercepting header from Pulemori, who's missed the last 3 games, but does start today. And did start in the derby 2 months ago. And indeed in that Nedbank Cup final. Was brilliantly played through here for Sibilibili. Has the pace to latch onto it. He's hung it up nicely for Mufokeng, who made a habit last month of scoring from headers, but this time didn't get the right kind of connection.
Yeah, with the confidence that he has, especially in front of goals. Look at the ball going out wide to Sibilibili. Already has this instinct of trying to get, at the end of it, so he's not scared, he's not afraid to get inside the box, to be able to get himself in those type of areas to be able to score goals. That's what confidence can do to such a player.
Pirates secured their 18th win of the season last time out against Amazulu. That's the 5th time they've managed that in the PSL era. Another win would take them to 19 and match what they managed last season, which is the most that they've ever got in a single campaign. So you would back them to set a new club record this season with the matches they do have remaining. Hotto comes inside, gets away from Duba quite brilliantly. Chain towards the left-hand flank. Bituma, Mufokeng, Sibilibili. Makaula for Mbata. Now Oswin Apollos, he's offside. He's finished beautifully, but the flag had long since been raised.
I mean, that's a cool, calm finish. Nice control from Apollos, and also a beautiful run as well. It's unfortunate that he was offside, but that high line, I think it demonstrates to then how Kaizer Chiefs are very, maybe not in a straight line, maybe not properly organized, because Apollos could find himself just beyond that line.
Now Sibilibili has gone in here on Pulemori.
there's a foul. I think also there was an incident that happened a little bit earlier with 1vs1 and Tetwa that he didn't get the foul that he wanted. But we always speak about this game, and the emotion that comes with playing such a game. So you need to be able to control those, but also be able to still play according to the instructions. And whenever you find opportunity as a talent or an influential player, you need to be decisive to make the right decisions.
It's the Billy man of the match in his first derby. 3-0 win a couple months back. Oscar Paulus has already opened his derby account in that same game. He thought that he had got his second not so long ago. So, second is all the best in the game. From Maboe. Knocked back across goal, but Orlando Pirates will deal with that at least initially. It's back now with Kaizer Chiefs. Mori, he's given it away to Moremi. A little bit isolated, and the whistle has gone. Last three derbies we had already seen a goal by now. And then his 5th minute goal in their last league outing as Mofokeng lays it across here from Butuma. Brandon Peterson gets there. Oh, what a telling intervention from Brandon Peterson, who has never lost a Soweto derby in the league.
That is a great challenge there that was done by Peterson to make sure that he gets himself big, because it really was up in there. You could see really trying to play, and it was just one defender from Kaizer Chiefs, so it forced Peterson to actually step out of his line to make sure that he prevent that from going in, but also bravery tackle as well that had been done by Simango to put his body on the line to make sure that Orlando Pirates doesn't get anything from that attack.
Moremi has remained down after that tangle. Brandon Peterson had no choice but to get there. Let's have another look. It's beautifully played in behind.
Yeah, and if you look, I think at this instance it's Butuma, but today it's where Moremi maybe got caught by Simango's tackle. But look at the save here. From this man that came back after so long after an injury that he had, and he was doing so great in the beginning of the season. Of course, he'll try to continue that, but this is the confidence that they need, especially from a goalkeeper of his caliber, to make sure that he comes out and make himself big, make this type of saves.
Credit as well to giving him Simango for getting across.
Also, Grant, you look at now, it's the second time now that Kaizer is being playing that high line, and Pirates are being able to play those balls just in between cross and Emoji. They need to find a solution, because Orlando Pirates will poke into those areas. Orlando Pirates will find themselves in the score sheet if they don't get that sorted.
Brandon Peterson is fired up. He has actually missed 5 of the last 6 Soweto derbies. The only one he's played in over that period was the Nedbank Cup final that they won.
Funny enough, he came back after a long time being playing and being able to come into the game. But it was a big surprise on the lineup. But yet again, they managed to win the cup.
So just gone past the midway points of this first half. There have now been chances at both ends. Well, the Pirates soaked up early pressure, but the best opportunities have come for them now in the last few minutes. Simango. There is Tetwa. He's only played 2 of the last 13 league games coming into this match, having featured in all of Chiefs' first 11 league games of the season. Tetwa has struggled with injury this term. Duba. They can't make anything more happen on that flank. Munyane, who has playing in his 7th derby. He's won 3 and lost 3. Only one of those has been with Kaizer Chiefs, though. That was the most recent one. Celebrates his 26th birthday this coming week, does Munyane.
Maybe he might breathe a sigh of relief, because you can see that Mourinho was struggling a little bit with an injury. Maybe from that challenge that Msimanga made earlier on within that box as well. And you can see the concerns on Orlando Pirates' attack, knowing that the synergy that they have, and also the speed, possibly to try and penetrate Kaizer Chiefs' defense. Maybe as to then how slow they are. You look at McCarthy, you look at Msimanga, they're not the fastest of the two.
It's only the second time that he's emerging from the bench. The last instance was actually in the previous derby. He got 5 minutes as a sub. He has certainly impacted this fixture before. He assisted Saleng's winner in that famous 3-2 victory back in the 2023-2024 season, and then in the first derby of 2024-2025, and it looked like we were heading for the first 0-0 since the 2017-18 season. Maswangani stepped up with that Panenka.
It really sounds like a long time ago.
Yes.
I guess also we've been spoiled by, you know, amount of goals that have been scored between the two teams and just recent derbies that we had.
It was only 14 months ago. Well, that's not the way that Moremi envisaged that his derby would go. Easy claim for Peterson. Global, receiving from Mabue. Tetwa intercepted by Apollos, but Global recovers. He hasn't featured quite regularly enough for Chiefs to top the chart in terms of interceptions and recoveries. For Supersport last season, in Global had more interceptions than any other player in the entire division. But he is his usual industrious self every time he sets foot on the pitch for Amakosi. Working it to Hotto. Gets past one, but doesn't have the sides mirrors on, and doesn't sense Duba coming to pick his pocket. Here's Maswangani. Apollos hits it from range. Easy for Brandon Peterson. He has not been beaten from outside the box this season. It's the 15th shots from range that he's faced. He's saved all of them. The only goal from outside the box the Chiefs have conceded this season was Tupang Moremi's deflected effort in the derby that came off the leg of Silva.
Yeah, I remember that from the corner kick.
Yeah.
And I can see that Apollos also is capable of taking those type of shots, but the reaction of Kaizer Chiefs after losing those balls, making sure that they get closer to the man, they don't give him space and time, and that's exactly what they needed in the previous game. But right now they're applying right moments at the right time.
Driven across field by Monyane, and unable to keep it alive, but it's a terrific ball from the right back. We were mentioning Brandon Peterson's proficiency in saving those long-range shots, but they're coming up against the Orlando Pirates team that have scored 15 goals from range this season, 14 in open play and with the Kings free kick, and 8 goals from outside the box in their last 4 games.
I'm sure within those 8 goals that are outside the box, I'm sure King has got 2 or 3 in those.
Yeah, indeed. 5 of his 10 goals this season have been long-range goals.
Yeah.
And in the past 9 seasons, since Opta started collecting those specific stats, only Keegan Dolly for Kaizer Chiefs in 2022-23 has scored as many long-range goals in a single season. Away by Hotto. Has been the assist king this season for Orlando Pirates. 8 assists in the league so far. Managed 5 in the previous campaign, although he contributed a couple more goals than he has managed in this season. And he's already equaled the tally that he got for Celtic back in 2017-18. The only time he's got more assists in a season was in 2018-19 for Bidvest Wits, which chasing down the 11 he managed then.
It's only because he was playing high up the pitch at the time.
Indeed. Butuma on the charge. Simango coming across. Lucky to evade that boot that was flung out near his face. Masongani turns with it. Knocks some Tetris sticks in a boot. Here's Siema. Makaula. Siema with another successful pass. Third most successful passes in the Betway Premiership this season for the 23-year-old in his first campaign with the Buccaneers. Masongani. Mufokeng. Dispossessed by Simango. Pirates have it again. Here's Mbata over the top. Still looking for his first goal in the league this season, having bagged 3 in the Betway Premiership in the previous campaign.
You can see that he was rushed to take that shot because they know the strength that he has just shooting outside the box, making sure that they're getting closer, forcing him to shoot when he's uncomfortable. And you look at also since the changes as well, Grant, you look at a lot of passes trying to still now penetrate through the midfield. They're no longer going out wide to overload them the size. Now they want to go through the midfield, so which means we might see also an alteration in terms of the position for Kaizer Chiefs in that midfield, because now the space is now out wide for Kaizer Chiefs to be able to utilize, because now Hoto's not doing overloads, Semedo also is not doing overloads because of really now playing inside.
Okay, good defending from giving him Simango. Now Tetra dispossessed. This is Butuma laying it off for Mufokeng. Cuts inside. Here's Sibili Billy. Brandon Peterson with the big stop, and on the follow-up a terrific block to keep the Buccaneers out. That was Butuma who thrashed it towards goal with some power.
You look at how much, there's a couple of balls, there's a couple of instances as well that the ball has been stolen from Mteto. Orlando Pirates again nearly punished Kaizer Chiefs from that incident, because Mteto now doesn't play the ball out wide a little bit quicker. It doesn't get, his feet sorted out a bit quicker. The balls have been stolen, but a great save being pulled by the Spaniard.
He'll be glancing up towards the stands and saying, my passport is ready. Bernard Peterson with another huge stop. Now Dion Hotto. Sibili arriving. Black cross was on hand, and Sibili runs it out.
Look at this incident right here. The ball being played out wide with Sibili. Peterson be able to put his body on the line, and the second one against Simango there, making sure that he puts his body on the line, but you need to recover. Kaizer Chiefs midfield needs to recover a little bit quicker, because you can see that it's only Mteto and later on, yes, Nzobo will join in, but they need to recover a little bit quicker. But Peterson here pulled a great save.
Giving Simango blocking the follow-up. That's several good interventions from Simango as well. Hugo Bruce watching on. He has some big decisions to make in terms of his goalkeeping department. Of course, Super Chain left out of the squad for the friendlies against Panama, which would have left him bitterly disappointed and eager to regain his place.
With that said, he also wants to pull out some great saves as well, because as much as he having clean sheet pulling out the records, but it's just that sometimes teams are not actually testing him in terms of for him to make those type of saves.
There is Apollos. Pirates have grown into this game. Was it Apollos overrunning it? This season, playing his 39th game in all competitions. He's just won. This campaign, he's 20 goal contributions in all comps this season. highest in the league. It says 8 goals and 6 assists. Very healthy tally. Wasteful. The Buccaneers. Well, the side started well. Khalid bin Yusuf, but as we head towards injury time in the first half, it is Orlando Pirates who have started to dominate. That's the log as it stands, just inching away from Mamelodi Sundowns, who, due to the delay, will kick off in only about an hour from now, out on the north coast of KZN. A tricky trip to Richards Bay, where not so long ago Orlando Pirates themselves stumbled.
Not an easy trip.
Yeah, that was an Orlando Pirates side who came into that game against Richards Bay, having scored 11 in their previous 2 matches. But the Natal Rich boys, immense at the Klatusa Sports Complex. So will Mamelodi Sundowns be able to depart KZN with a full haul of 3 points? Aidan McCarthy did go off injured just before the half-time break in the previous outing against Polokwane City, but it was more precautionary than anything, trying to ensure that he would be ready for the derby, as Modi tries unsuccessfully to combine here with Spesihle Ndlovu. Tollis is taken away from him by Tetra, but illegally, according to Awangile Tom. Tetra turned 32 earlier this week, and who really has not played all too much football since November, just a 3rd appearance in the Betway Premiership. Floated forward by Chen. Maswangane and Mufukeng trying to make something happen on that left-hand flank. Ball has come off a Chiefs player last, so it'll be a corner kick.
Let's see what all the corner kicks that we've seen on the Pirates going with 3, sometimes with 2, sometimes. Let's see if they can really do something here, especially in this critical phase of the game.
From Mufukeng, strongly away, looked like Lilepo that time. Otto for Maswangane. Dion Otto again. Yani under it. Duba asking for the free kick. Tossed back in by Mbata. Butuma. Still in Butuma. Gets another bite here. Goes down under the challenge of Mtetwa, but is promptly back up to his feet.
Good work there, Bidaba Butuma inside the box. Trying to find one of his players.
No real appeals from for a penalty. Awangile Tom has awarded 3 penalties in his last 4 matches that he's officiated. Of course, the most recent being the missed spot kick by Rele Mufukeng against Amazulu last weekend. Maswangane's take all the way to Sapisi. And there's Lilepo with the clearing header. Now setting Pulimori on his way, pursued by Mufukeng. A little short on support. All the way back here to give him Simango, who has had a very steady half at the back.
Yeah, indeed. And if you look at Simango's been helping very steady with those 2 tackles, those 2 blocks rather, that were very important early on. Also look at KZ Chiefs, Graham, whenever they have the ball, they don't have that person that maybe your Moremi that can sprint out, the Butuma that can sprint out, be able to carry the ball or maybe stretch Orlando Pirates defense. Maybe they can look into that, but they look very dangerous whenever they have, because of the spaces that Radio Orlando Pirates leave on the side, where it finds either Modi or Duba operating in those areas.
So there's the whistle to signal the end of this 45 minutes, and for just the second time in the last 8 Soweto derbies, it is 0-0 going into the break. Not for the want of trying though. Brandon Peterson has stood strong between the sticks. A couple of times denying Orlando Pirates with some very, very good saves and showing just how much he was missed back in February. What do you make of that opening period, Dick?
I can see both teams are making substitutions and the same, more or less, positions. Kaizer Chiefs, you know, with Mteto, maybe realizing that, you know, when maybe 2 pivots within Ndlovu and Mabuye, maybe we need a 10 to be more creative, maybe getting just under the level to get to that support. The way for Nemtemjela as well is to maybe try to initiate play from a deep line when Kaizer Chiefs are pressing that hard, to be able to have a player that will be able to bypass the pressing line to engage the forwards.
Dion Hotto getting it in, away by Aidan McCarthy. Mabwe putting a toe on that. Spulimori misreading the run of his teammates and giving the ball away. Here's Sibilibili laying it in here for Butuma. Mufokeng closed down quickly by Ndlovu. Very, very necessary intervention by the former Buccaneer.
We spoke about that in the first episode, and how the numbers that he had last season in terms of interception, I think it's one of his best strengths, or one of his strengths rather, to be able to intercept and read the game very well into that midfield. So it's such an important player. Let's see then if both of them, which is him and Mabua, be able to manage, you know, the Nemtenjela, the Masongani, and Mbata in that midfield.
We just saw a brief exchange of words between coach Abdeslam Mwadu and he substituted Makahleni Makaula. Listed forward again, looking for Butuma, but straight through to Brandon Peterson. There's McCarthy, Brad Cross. Sipochen. Lepo quickly upon him, works it out to Sibisi. There's Mbata. King to Sibisi. Hotto. Maswangani. Nicely done by Duba. Munyani. Duba. Ndlovu. A tug from Mbata and a free kick for Kaizer Chiefs. Pirates could become, if they win today, the first side to ever do 3 successive league doubles in the derby. Interestingly, they'd only ever done 1 previously before this current streak. That was all the way back in 2008, 2009. They are on the verge of a derby record for the most successive wins in the league. 5 currently. Interestingly, Kaizer Chiefs had won 5 in a row in the league before Pirates' current streak. There's Maswangang. Mufokeng. It's still Mufokeng. Teasing Mabwe. Finding Sibilibili. Now a team that has been so good from range this season, just not quite finding the mark at the moment.
Look at defensive line, look at where Modi is and where he steps up, just to try and make sure that there's not enough space and time. Here you can see Ndlovu again continuing as well, being able to anticipate and making sure that this man, who is so dangerous in and around the type of box, whenever he's on the ball, Kaizer Chiefs defend, Kaizer Chiefs midfield, they're not giving him time. They recover very well. They make sure that they don't fall for his tricks, they don't fall for his feints. But then again, we know how dangerous really is. And the Kaizer Chiefs are making sure that whenever he's on the ball, there's men on top of him.
It's given away here to Lilepo, but covered quickly by Pirates. Yema receiving from Nimtajela. Dushabalala's all over him. And he's showing a lot of fire early as well. Shabalala trying to get the crowd behind Kaizer Chiefs. He's been in fairly good form of late. Has 8 goal contributions this season. Shabalala in 23 appearances in the league, but 3 goal contributions in his last 4 outings. So he has been impactful recently.
And also this is the game as well that he can actually shine if he finds himself in the right areas with his trickery, with his cleverness whenever he's on the ball. Maybe the creativity that Kaizer Chiefs need, especially this time of the game.
Lepo really hasn't got an opportunity yet to unleash the man who has attempted the most shots in the league this season and hit the target most frequently. Lepo going down there. He's attempted 78 shots this season. Last season, across the entire campaign, the player to have the most efforts in total was Lucas Ribeiro Costa with just 73. I say just, but of course Lepo has surpassed that. He's sometimes wild and wayward, as that flick from Ronyane doesn't find a teammate. Waiting for that pressure before looking for an option upfield. Before King absolutely clattered by Ndlovu. Still yet to see a card come out of the pocket, and now things get a little bit fiery. Well, the pre-match scuffle has been widely circulated on social media. That was between I guess not really the players, but some security of Orlando Pirates and staff of Kaizer Chiefs. It seems to have spilled over into the match itself.
I mean, that's what the derby is about. It's all about emotions, and we spoke a little bit earlier today. Who will be able to control those emotions? You can see here fighting for the ball. I think Leo Mabu as well, stepping on really when Really was trying to come up. Yeah. This is the initial challenge that the referee blew for a foul. Expecting to see this, not condoned, but expecting to see the game of this magnitude, to see players, you know, unable to, sometimes in certain instances, unable to control their emotions.
Chiefs do come into this game on the back of a 0-0 draw, but prior to that, they had won 5 in a row, and 4 of those in succession by a 2-goal margin. First time in the PSL era that the club have managed that. So whilst their last outing might have been a bit underwhelming, they are a team in good form at the moment, and they are giving the log leaders a real test here. Not seen a draw for quite some time in this derby. Last draw 1-1 in 2018-19 season, which actually was the 6th draw in 9 matches during what some dubbed the Drawby era. As Abdul Shabalala looks to go gliding past Siema, tumbling down, gets the free kick. Well, it doesn't get the free kick. It's gone behind. Initially thought the signal was in favour of Kaizer Chiefs.
Yes, I think it is in favour of Kaizer Chiefs, because I think Siema there fouling Abdul Shabalala. It gets into those type of areas. Yes, it is. It gets into those type of areas which we spoke about, especially the first half, looking at the characteristics of the midfield that the Kaizer Chiefs have. We didn't have anybody that can get into those type of areas to make those third man run. Duels coming in. Look at the amount of free kicks now. Look at as to then how the Kaizer Chiefs are getting into those type of areas and winning set pieces from there because of his inclusion in the team. It really, really pushes the team forward.
in the 3-2 defeat they suffered in 2022-2023 season, or 23-24. Setting up on 2 occasions Ashley Dupree in that match that they eventually went on to lose, with Monapule Saleng netting the winner. That's a huge, huge moment in this enthralling season. And now, how do the Buccaneers respond? Well, the last 2 league matches where Kaizer Chiefs have taken the lead, they have gone on to lose. Most recently, last season, Lilepo, the opener, inside 2 minutes. Evidence Makopa and Rele Mofokeng turning that game on its head, and then the aforementioned 3-2 win for Pirates 2 seasons back, where Ashley Dupree had given Amakosi the lead, but again, they would not end up on the winning side.
They'll be hoping maybe to change those stats that is Kaizer Chiefs. Understanding as well that there might be party spoilers, but also playing for the continental football rather. And then find himself with a little bit of a change, a little bit of a trick in that midfield where Shawa now comes in now. It really changes the dynamics in how they play. They find themselves in those type of areas. The goal being created because of the movement that he had. Now they're finding themselves in those type of set pieces. They need to be able to do something because they're being, knocking on the door in terms of those set pieces that they get.
Lilepo with plenty of pace on that one. It's the kind of free kick that just needed the slightest of touch. He probably was trying to bend it into the bottom corner, or at least hoping that if no one got a touch, it would test the goalkeeper. But here comes a man who has a stellar record in the derby. Evidence Makopa has scored 4 goals previously in the Soweto derby, but has scored in the last 3 matches against Kaizer Chiefs in succession. And he's on the verge of what would be a tremendous record, potentially becoming just the 2nd Pirates player ever to score in 4 successive derbies, and just the 3rd overall. The last to do it was in the early 90s. Fani Madida, as Kaizer Chiefs get on the front foot here again, with Sabisi hacking it clear ahead of Ndusha Balala.
And who are the other 2 of Fani Madida?
And previously, before that, 50-something years ago, there was Alfred Jacobs, who sadly passed away about 9 years ago. He scored in 4 successive derbies. That was in the early 70s. That's the last time that an Orlando Pirates player managed to do that. Here's Mofokeng. Still Mofokeng! Oh, it required a touch from Peterson.
Yeah, it required a touch indeed from Peterson, who was exceptional, especially in the saves that he made in the first half. Second half, it had been a little bit quiet, but look at where it really becomes a problem again in that area where he plays as a 10. He finds an opportunity there. Make sure that Kaizer Chiefs defense needed to find a way, but to really trying to sneak the one inside there, but Peterson were able to pull out that save.
This derby has well and truly come alive. Outswinging delivery from Dion Hotot over everyone. Talent Mbata now. Maswanganyu whips it in. Makopa and Sierra, who has scored a couple of bangers this season, but this time around can't direct it on target.
We've seen Wanda when we put Wanda back against Richards Bay away in the dying minutes. You can see really here just been forced to put the ball in his wicket foot on his left hand side, but a great touch nonetheless from Peterson again.
Siema first in August against Auburn College, brilliant goal then, and then, as you point out, injury time equaliser against Richards Bay to snatch a point. It was 2 games back.
And if you look at that game as well, the amount of stress, it's the same stress that they're encountering today, because it was a must-win. It is a must-win even today. But the difference is, when they played Richards Bay, when Richards Bay was ahead, especially the first one, Pirates lacked patience. They had so many shots, yes, they had so many corner kicks, but they lacked patience. Will they practice patience? Do they done that they're trading against, a Kaizer Chiefs side? They need to, important players need to be on the ball and be decisive.
Masongani feeding Sibili really. Get a corner. They are the top goal scorers in the league, but with just 20 minutes to go here, they have been unable to find one against Kaizer Chiefs, who they beat soundly by 3-0 just 2 months ago. Maswangani's ball in. Lilepo with the strong clearing header. So good have Pirates been in front of goals this season. They're actually closing in on what is their own PSL era record for goals scored in a single season. It was 21 years ago they managed 52. They're currently on 50, so you would back them to set a new club record. As things stand, Mamelodi Sundowns with 2 games in hand are just 1 point behind. The momentum would well and truly be with the Brazilians if nothing changed here this afternoon. Tajela battling away in the midfield, he's lost out here. Shabalala can't locate Lilepo. Sabisi finding Maswangani. Bata. The Chiefs doing a really good job of just closing those passing lanes. He's forced to try and work it out wide here, and now it's nicked away from Mbata. Dushabalala. Out it goes to Pulemori. Can't find a route past Sibibi.
Yeah, you're right, Grant. You can see Kaizer Chiefs are trying to make sure that a lot of Pirates just go on the side and those sides, and then that's when they'll try and put pressure. But in that midfield, they're protecting it. They don't want Pirates to come through the midfield. And then that's where now the problem is. Once you're Ntenjela be able to look forward and have time and space on the ball, that's when Orlando Pirates are dangerous with those third-man run. So they're trying to make sure that they minimize those.
So a stop and play with Wanile Duba having gone down. And has 3 goals in the league this season, a fairly disrupted season for him. Managed 5, jointly a top scorer in the Betway Premiership for Chiefs in the previous campaign. They do still have Flavio Silva waiting on the bench. He's been in good goal-scoring form of late. As Asolopolis delivers in a ball that's a touch too strong. The Chiefs have been good on a Sunday this season. 3 wins and 1 draw. They are yet to taste defeats on a Sunday. The last time that they lost a league match on a Sunday was to Richards Bay in March last year. Danilo Batuma was on the score sheet that particular day. We did see Silva getting his final instructions just a moment ago. Shouldn't be very long before he is introduced. Maswangani. A bit scrappy at the moment. Either side able to hang on to it. This is Mbata. Now Masongani. Tempers starting to fray. Tajela. Hotto. Chased down by Wanile Duba. Siema takes it forward. It's a good pick up for Maswangani. This is Mufokeng. Mahopa waiting. Still Mufokeng. Brad Cross takes it away.
That's a good also cover defense as well from McCarthy. Standing on his feet, making sure that you just stay on your feet and allow that cover from across the able to take over.
Now Polis rolled into space here for Hotto on the follow-up, and it's in! It's Sibilivili with the equaliser! Now the man of the match when they met 2 months ago. And now Sibilivili on the score sheets in the Soweto derby for the first time.
I guess Grandis came on after Peterson been tested in this game, making so many saves. Look at the way Hoto plays the ball. With Peterson making the save. Look at Sibilivili as a right full back. He finds himself high up the pitch because they're trying to get more numbers going forward, trying to get into the scoring sheets, get back into the game. Kaizer Chiefs defense was caught sleeping here because nobody actually made that follow-up, but the presence of mind as well from the Sibilivili to able to punish Kaizer Chiefs there.
There were some protests from the Kaizer Chiefs players about the presence of Evidence Makopa on the goal line, but he was not interfering with play. In fact, he made a real effort to get completely out of the way. And it is game on here at Soccer City. Dead even, 1-1 with a quarter hour to play. And this is generally another period where Orlando Pirates really start to come alive. They've scored 12 goals in the final 15 minutes of games this season. It's the most in the league. It's also a massive improvement from the previous campaign when they scored 10 in the final 15 minutes. Under coach Wadu, they seem to often find a way when they need to, like they did against Richards Bay, like they did against Polokwane City in recent matches.
I'm sure that that's what also the team believes in, and I'm sure the players know that, and I'm sure it's something that has also been echoed in the changing room. And also from a opposition side, I'm sure Kaizer Chiefs is aware of those type of stats. They are aware of the dangers of that last 15 minutes that a lot of Pirates possess.
Silva challenging for it. Dushabalala has it now. A new man on the park, Flavio Silva, 7 goals in the league this season. He's already bettered last season's tally and 2023-24's tally in terms of Kaizer Chiefs top scorer. He's equaled 2022-23 where Caleb Bimini-Mana scored 7 goals, although 4 of those were penalties. And he's closing in on the mark set by Kama Billiat as Chiefs top scorer in 2021-2022 as we look at Globo being upended here. There was a very unlikely record on the cards for Orlando Pirates prior to the match, which is now gone, and that is for clean sheets in a single season, currently owned by none other than Kaizer Chiefs, which they set 22 years ago with 21 clean sheets in total. Although, with that said, if Pirates kept a clean sheet in their remaining 4 games, they would equal that mark. Here is Evidence Makopa. Sandwiched by 2 players. No foul. Flung across field where it will be picked up here by Masongang. Sibilivili. Sibilivili does brilliantly here. Apollos arriving! And Brandon Peterson throws himself across goal once again.
Peterson being called once again, making that save, being away inside the box, but also the crosses that are still coming as well from Sibilivili, making, all those runs, finding himself high up the pitch, be able to bring those cross in, also with an overload as well, that Tito Maswanganyi also adding into that line as well. It needs Modi to come back and help cross in terms of that defense.
Silva got pace. It's well watched by Siema. Well, the last time that a Soweto derby was staged in April, remarkably, was all the way back in 2007. That was also a 1-all draw.
So you think we're heading for a 1-all draw?
Absolutely. There's the earlier moment created by Sibilibili. Brandon Peterson's influence has been very, very apparent today. Well, they won't get any closer to Kaizer Chiefs' clean sheet record, currently held by Dumoulin Kune, 16 clean sheets that he set back in 2017-18. Also a club record that they're very close to, with 15 in total this season. So a few more good performances in the remaining games, and they very, very well may break that. Brandon Peterson, who has played 5 times in the derby previously. The only time that he's been on the losing end was the Nedbank Cup semi-final. It went into extra time back in 2022-2023. Sandile Teto scoring his first ever Pirates goal to win that game and send them through to the final as they won against Kukuni United. So Dushabalala feeds Silva here. Siplisi with a strong challenge. Dion Hotto now forward for Evidence Makgopa. That's nicely laid off his chest for Maswangan. Bata. Mufokeng has been very closely watched today.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work that has been done by Ndlovu, making sure that wherever Mufokeng is, he's not far off from that incident.
Here is Apollos. Only Mufokeng this season has created more chances than Osman Apollos. Not for Pirates, but in the entire division. Here is Mufokeng. Now Maswangan. Apollos again. Trying to lift it in for Makgopa. Just kicked off in Richards Bay. Already Sundowns looking for 3 points against the Natal Rich boys that, as things stand, would lift them to the summit. But there's still time remaining here, just under 10 minutes.
And I guess so the question is now for Kaizer Chiefs, do you now go for the kill, or you sit back and consolidate and get away with the point, or you feel like maybe you can go all the way and be able to score? So it kind of like gets into those type of areas of time, rather looking at the time on the clock, become very, very tricky. As a team that wants to win, that is a lot of part, knowing and understanding the magnitude of 3 points. And also for Kaizer Chiefs, not only just for bragging rights, to make sure that you show the fans that you showed up and you're able to compete, especially looking at the previous derby that they had.
It's a drastic improvement from that. Now Osman Apollos, he forced a little wide, and it's an easy pickup for Brandon Peterson. They'll be desperate to get revenge after suffering what was their biggest league defeat since 2001, when Leslie Manyatela was on the score sheet twice in that particular game. So rest in peace. Been Kaizer as well. It's been generally quite tight margins actually over the last few years or so. Prior to the 3-0 win for Pirates in February, the last 13 matches between these two sides that produced a win had all been by a 1-goal margin, and it's very tight again today.
That's why possibly maybe in the previous fixture fans felt like maybe, you know, they were disappointed in the sense that maybe Kaizer Chiefs didn't perform according to the expectations as well. So you need to show up today and be able to compete, and that's exactly what they do.
brilliantly laid into the path here of Munyane. Sabisi making the interception. Flavio Silva arriving at pace.
Good play there for Munyane. As also you can see that it's buying more time to actually check as to that who's the person inside the box that can maybe the most free that he can get the ball into. And try finding Silva there. Good anticipation as well from Smith.
Orlando Pirates yet to concede from a corner this season. In fact, they've conceded just twice from corners in the past 3 seasons in the Premiership. If you actually go back to 2022-23, they conceded 5 times from corners, so that's something they've really tightened up in the last few campaigns, as Mabwe with the out-swinging delivery does find the head of giving him Simango. That's over the top.
He is a player that Kaizer Chiefs should be looking for inside the box whenever they do find those type of set pieces.
Loss upon us this season, being subbed off now for the 17th time in the league, as Kosekona Ndaba, who did start the previous game, is introduced here. That means Dion Hotto has been pushed further upfield to try and influence play with his creative ability in terms of getting assists. There have been very few players this season across the entire division that have actually been subbed as many times as Apollos. No one at Orlando Pirates has been withdrawn more often. He's only started and finished 3 league games in this campaign. King sliding it here through for Dion Hotto. Brandon Peterson quickly off his line. Good pass from King, who has been creating chances with frequency this season. He's the leader in terms of chance creation. Came into this match with 74 chances created. That's a chance every 23 minutes. An improvement on the previous campaign when he created a chance on average every 33 minutes. Brandon Peterson down, that's why there's been a stop here.
I'm sure with the results as well, you know, footballers just slow down the tempo, slow down the pressure possibly that Orlando Pirates are trying to deploy, but good reading of the game here from Peterson to be able to just come out there whenever he was required, because we know how speedy he is, playing that high line, so it requires now the goalkeeper not just to sit or stay in there in that line, just to play the sweeper keeper role.
So with Mamelodi Sundowns having kicked off against Richards Bay, this is what the log looks like as it stands. It's still 0-0 out on the north coast of KZN. Tight margins, very, very tight margins. Tumelen Kune, who didn't actually have the very best derby record, but made almost 30 appearances, and he certainly kept you quiet. Although you were denied a few times by a post whist rather than Kune himself.
Yeah, very nice challenge that I had with him.
And the brothers Muto watching on. Third place, all but locked up at the moment. They'll have another African adventure to enjoy next season. We're ever so close to making it out of the group stages of the Confederation Cup. Spiro Shabalala lurking in the background. I'm sure he's been laughing the whole game. Skimbo in front of him. Beautiful, beautiful venue. 94,500 capacity. It's been the stage for some phenomenal games over the years is actually the 30th league meeting at the new revamped FNB Stadium since its World Cup renovation. Chiefs have 10 wins over that period, Pirates 9, and there have been 10 games that have finished level, so a little bit of a milestone for this revamped venue. There's Mufokeng. Oh, Mufokeng goes down on the edge of the area. Abangile Tom quick to indicate that the ball had been won. This is Mdu Shabalala now, bursting into the half of Orlando Pirates. He gets it back rather fortuitously, and Spesitli and Ndlovu tried to play it first time wide to Lilepo, and he scraped it